Hello dear viewer, I'm leesusss. Welcome back to creative mode of Empyrion Galactic Survival. Why are we staring at this beast again? Well, because we're going to modify it. That's why. We've been to skill on and didn't much like the look of it. It looks very unpleasant. So this thing I think needs a bit more beefing up. It's done its job. It does a reasonable job at transporting and it's okay. But you haven't seen some of the problems I've had that I've not put on camera with me, particularly when it's very heavy loaded, which of course most of the storage happens at the back over here, yeah, in the storage area. The weight gets quite a lot, and I've been struggling over some of the mountains. I mean, I've been caught in ravines and various other things. The lift engines are struggling a bit, so we need to improve those. It's also a problem with HVs, getting around a little bit. They are very generous in how they bounce over certain things, but sometimes you can get stuck if you haven't got enough oomph to them. And I was fairly cheap in building this, so we're going to make it stronger in that. But also, it's not very defensive. We'll talk about defences and armour blocks when we get to it, but that's what we need to do, and we also probably need a bit more firepower as well. Before we do that, remember, we have lessons to learn, and today's lesson is a bit more of a complicated one. I'll see how well I get on with it. I've been commenting about building. I've made building things a little harder for myself, like with the Hawk. And this sort of harkens back to my comment about you can do things in a very simplistic way, or you can use the tools of a game properly, and that makes things easier and a more enjoyable experience. So in fact, that's what we're going to do here by using the debug mode. Now, normally, actually, I would use the debug mode over here. This is the one I would actually use. Things like you can see various things about the center of mass, if your ship is balanced. It does make a difference in the game. Structural integrity, if it's damaged or not. I often do things like airtight blocks, this blocky object here. This is not a good case for this, but you know, in a building, some blocks are actually transparent to the outside world. Some of these vents down here, you can build them so they're transparent or not. In a lot of places, you won't have any oxygen or a breathable atmosphere. Is your base secure? So I've used things like that, but I've not really used this because I haven't really taken the time to learn it. And it's not maybe as smooth as it could be. There's a couple of aspects here we're going to do, though, that we're going to take advantage of. And we'll explain one at a time. We'll start with the one that's probably the most useful for the buildings I've been doing, particularly making the Hawk, which is the Symmetry plane. Okay, so I've seen this in here, but not really played around with it enough to know how it works. This is a Symmetry building plane, okay, and we can set it in various different places on here, and you can obviously see this is what we call an XY orientation, and that means that at this point here, anything I do here will be mirrored on the other side, whether it's constructive or deconstructive, on the other side for the base. So I could put up, actually this is probably the wrong sort of block. No, I can put this as an HV. This is my inventory left from building the Hawk, okay, and I can actually do something from there. Let me turn the debugger mode off for a second. There we go. We're now on the block here. Oh look, a block has appeared at the other end, equidistant through that way. Yes, and we can undo that as well here. But of course we've got different symmetry planes. So we've got symmetry planes like this. We've got, you can't actually see it because of how blurry it is, but if I release it so I can move around a bit, this is the plane we're talking about. The up and down plane, if you like, rather than the terms that they're using in there, but it means the same thing, the XZ plane and then the YZ plane, like that. So imagine when I was building the Hawk, if I'd have used this properly, it would have been far easier to do the building of one wing and it would be automatically mirrored on the other side, which is what I should really do. Yeah, you can only do one symmetry plane at a time, by the way, as well, so that's just how things are. So for example, what we do now is if we set the symmetry plane now for probably this one here, I'd imagine, and we don't want it over here or over here, we want it in the middle because it's an odd shaped block. Yeah, you can put it wherever you want to, then it should make this building this thing a whole lot easier. There's some other bits to show on here, but we'll come on to those later, but we're going to leave this one for now. I can't actually place any blocks like this when I'm in this mode here, but I've got it set up. It's already set up, so stop zooming around me. That means I can now do things. And it also means that if I flip this thing over, because we want to work on the base first, if it's going to flip over, is it going to flip over? Maybe it isn't. Anyway, to really demonstrate, the plane continues to exist, even though we've flipped the vehicle. Okay, what are we going to do first? Well, let me clear my inventory, and then we'll start on modifying this bit. Nice. Okay, there we go. Now, a lot of the blocks for HVs are compatible with HVs, but not all of them. So you've got to be careful what you use as far as that goes. What I need to look for is, I always forget exactly what they're called, which is why I'm looking for them rather than doing that. The hovering, not the lift engine, but the hover engine. I mentioned that, you know, I've been struggling a little bit with getting over mountains and things like that. So this is a better choice from this. Remember, these engines here are 4 times the power and the resources of the other. So we've got 3 at the front and 3 at the back, but of course most of the weight is at the back, so we should probably put more motors at the back. So if I take out these 3 and replace them with at least 2, yeah, the 2 new big engines are worth 8, where these are worth 3, so that should be a lot more lift, shouldn't it? So we can take out this here. Yeah, we'll take out all these like that, and in fact I will go all the way back to here, I think is where I'll go. We'll put one like that, and of course it automatically builds one on the other side. That's what I mean. See? Much easier. That's our docking pad. We can always take that off if we come to it. And again, remember, these are just textures. These aren't special blocks. These are just steel blocks at the bottom. So we went from 6 to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We've doubled the lift power. Okay? That seems reasonable to me. Yeah? We can do that, and that, and that. See what I mean? So much easier. And again, we can put bits in here, but we're going to worry about that later. So that is the lower part of the block. The vehicle done from there. Are you going to let me jump in? Okay. Right then. A lot more lift power. But what else do we need to do? Well, we need to do some other critical things in here as well. Important. So unfortunately, we do need to dig into the top of this vehicle. First of all, put these over here. We don't need them right now. Yeah, we can't. You can't just be doing like putting massive more engines on here and not do anything else with it. So in fact, we need to dig into here to find where the heck did I put the power. There's the Wi-Fi. Where have I put the generator? That's a fuel tank. We need to make that fuel tank bigger. There, it's this little generator here, look. It's not really big enough, is it, eh? I know it's the turret we're taking out, that's fine. That's the Wi-Fi. We're going to replace all these. And this is going to make the thing fall to the floor. Okay. We need a bigger generator in here. We've not had to worry about generators causing us problems yet. But potentially, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but if you overload a generator, and I think I've set the rules up for this in the game, if you overload the generator in demand, it will blow up. Like that. Surprised this hasn't fallen to the floor, actually. Took the generator out, I thought it would fall down, but maybe not. Maybe there's some energy stored in the in the jets. Who knows? Right. Alongside that, we're going to have a bigger generator. Therefore, we should have a bigger fuel tank as well. So if we try and find, there's the fuel tank there. This will make it fall down, I'm sure. We got 2 small fuel tanks. There we go. Right. And of course we are taking up more space with... We're taking out storage space by putting bigger items in. Yeah, so we are gonna factor that in, don't you worry. Oh, we can't. It's trying to mirror it and it can't. Come on, you can do this. You can put it in. Oh, that's because it's in the wrong orientation. Look. Go, fuel tanks, and we better fill the... Yeah, we're going to fill it back up again from our inventory. There we go. Oh, actually, I can't do this because I've got the... Give me a second. I need to do something off center. Let's turn the symmetry plane off. There we go. Let us get ourselves an O2 station. On the new version of the base, I'm just going to assume I definitely need to have of the vehicle. We're definitely going to need one of these, yeah. And we will need. We're in a more dangerous environment now. We weren't putting it in here originally because it would be a lot more demand on construction of the vehicle. But now we're replete with supplies, so we don't have to worry about it too much. So we'll put this in the standard, and we'll put in it's called a health station, I think. A medic station. We'll put one of those in as standard when we build it. Is that the right way round? That is the right way round. There we go. And now we can turn our symmetry plane back on again. It's in the same place as it was before. Okay, we've been ripping holes in this thing, and we've done various changes as far as the component parts in here. Do we need to do anything else before we go on to rebuilding it? Well, we probably do, actually. First thing is, we've not gone over the CPU usage yet, but we will do. For example, I've taken out the turret, and that will be a factor in there. We are going to need a CPU extender in here. Yeah, it's going to go over that. Before we do that, actually, what is the power demand on this? Power consumption. That's not really telling us very much yet until these thrusters start working, because I'm going to upgrade the thrusters. We'll worry about that in a minute. I think we're fine. I think we've got a lot of power in here. Yeah, we should be okay. With that many, we've over-engineered it with the generators. We're fine. We're not going to put anything that demanding on here, like a shield or anything like that. Okay, so CPU extender, a simple one. They get rapidly more expensive as you go through here. This one is not too bad as far as the components. So if we look at silicon, titanium, nothing too radical in here. If we put this in, and we'll just sink it into the center there. Yeah, we have added some rarer stuff in here. We've got neodymium and other things in here, but it's not too bad. Yeah, some magnets in there. Not too much of a demand, and that means that we now have we've got way more CPU usage. I know we pushed it before when we built the on Ninges, when we took on the bombers, I slapped on 2 miniguns on the front, and that took more demand on the CPU, and we dropped below that. So I know that we're going to have a struggle if we don't deal with this now. Yeah, so I'm putting the CPU extender in there. Are we missing anything else? Probably not. I think we're okay for now. Yeah, I think we're going to replace the thrusters in a bit, maybe. We've got small thrusters. We're going to put the medium ones in here because we're going to have more weight load. But we'll worry about that in a minute. Let's replace some of this storage that's in here. Yeah, we've ripped out all the guts of the machine. We need they're called container extensions, aren't they? They are indeed. Well done me for remembering that. Okay, we've refilled up the middle from there. We've lost some storage space. We're going to deal with that in a bit. So, before we go any further though, let's do the thrusters from here. So, we have the small ones on here, and it's not been terrible, but I have struggled a little bit in places with this, and with more weight. Let's do the enclosed thrusters. Yeah. Yeah, they are sticking out, aren't they? But that's fine. Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, see, I'm still getting used to doing this, so I already know. It's already mirrored it for me, yeah. But I'm going, oh, I must do this on the other side. I don't need to, me. You've done it. You've done it from there. You've dealt with it. Now these are actually already medium thrusters on the back. But do we need? Now, we looked at thrusters before, didn't we, when we were building the Hawk. So... we've got 130 versus 250. That's a big boy, that one. That's the size, by the way. That's the thruster group there. 185. I don't think we need to go to large. I think we can go to the Type 2 medium. I think. Yeah. Oh, let's show something else off actually. While we're here, let's show something else off that I haven't done before. Multi-tool. We're going to use this a bit later as well, but I forget about. I use it in a particular way. Again, I'm not expanding my skill set enough for doing these things. But we can do an upgrade. Okay. Now, the reason I don't do it on a lot of things is what you might consider an upgrade is a little bit subjective. You know, you don't necessarily think you agree with what an upgrade might be, but you can upgrade thrusters very easily. Yeah. I usually upgrade individual blocks. So let's say that we upgrade this thruster here. Did you do it? It's not doing it. What do you need? Oh, it needs. Oh, I see. Okay. I thought it would do it in creative. If you look in the bottom right, it needs a motor, some electronics, some optical fibre, nanotubes, 10 times cobalt alloy. I thought in creative it would not do that. But this is something you can do in the actual game as well. So, but the point is that the game is telling us what it considers the next upgrade to be, which is an interesting point. It considers the M2 T2 to be the next one from here. So let's just. Will I stop pressing the wrong button, please? Let's just do that from in here. Yeah. Let's just put these ones in, and I presume there's a thruster. Oh goodness. Is there... Oh, it's not a multi-block, sadly. And that's what it looks like. Okay? That is what it looks like, whether you like it or not. There you go. No, it's a shame there's no changes on this that we can make. Because the point was we built it into a slant, didn't we? Never mind. We can deal with that. Are we done with all the hard mechanics of this? I think we probably are, you know. Yeah, I think so. Right. But we're not quite done with everything we need to change about this vehicle. And it gives us a chance to demonstrate something else. So I want to increase the storage of this vehicle as well, which is why I'm putting the heavy-duty thrusters on there and everything from there. So I could start rebuilding this entirely, but we can do something else to save ourselves a bit of work. Because I like this. I like the look of this side. You know, if I can keep that going, obviously I've got to cover up some of these bits. If I can keep that going, I shall. So let us do something different. If we take off Symmetry Plane and we go to Selection, this is kind of the copy and paste thing that you can do. And I don't fully like it. I think it's a bit clunky, but you can do it. So, yeah, let's try and do that, shall we? This is the bit I'm least familiar with, so there might be some edits in here as I try and work out how to do it. We can select various things in here, yeah? We can select pieces of blocks or whole sections, and then we can do things like rotate them and move them and various other things like that. So what I'm thinking of, if I can... If it's going to let me, can I move this entire block? Can you let me grab the whole thing? Are you gonna? Sometimes it's awkward. I don't know why it doesn't always let me. See, it's not letting me scroll to the end any more than this. Is that selected all of it? No, it's missed out my favourite bit at the front. Okay, hold on. Let's try and do it like this. Right, I think we're going to try and do it in pieces. It doesn't want to let me select a certain thing. Sometimes it seems like there's a barrier between certain pieces being copied. I'm not going to worry about it too much. We'll do it in pieces as far as that. This is why I'm not enjoying this particularly. I find it quite frustrating. Either I'm misunderstanding something or the way it works is a little clunky. Anyway, I've selected the piece here. Now we know the classic from this. Anyone who's done anything on Windows or Microsoft or anything else, Control C we can copy this selection here, yeah? Yeah? And of course then what you do is you do a Control V, don't you? Obviously. Now at this point here you can do various things with this. You can change the scale, you can rotate the part, you can move it. What we're going to do is try to move it out. Well, no, actually no, I've had very little luck with moving it. I'm going to try and paste the piece that I want over here. I think I might have actually achieved it. Hold on, there you go. I press Control V again to place it in actuality. Let's take the selection off. There you go. I've replaced the pieces through from here. Now, that's not quite what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to copy the whole section from here. The point is we've retained this though, and we've done it. We've only done it on one side though. Oh, of course, yes, because I see the limitation here. You can't do mirroring and symmetry planes at the same time as you do selection. It's okay though. We've done part of it. What I can do from here is I can do a similar thing on the other side. I've actually collect this off. Also, I didn't want to actually duplicate these. I didn't care about these ones. So I have to have something in my hand to be able to delete these. There we go. Didn't actually want to copy those, but we've done it on that side there. Okay, I want to maintain this. I'm going to do the same thing with this piece here. I'm going to move it out, and then we're going to fill in the gap with more container extensions. That's my intent. Is this easier or harder than what I was doing before? I would say it's probably harder. For example, these pieces here are very easy to copy. Yeah, these ones are a bit more, I might fiddle around with trying to find the right pieces. These ones here, they're just regular curves and things like that. And I guess the patterns and everything else, you'd want to maintain those and the colours. There's a particularly complicated thing on there. I don't know, do I? So probably it's just easier for me to put the mirror selection back up again and do that, and then copy through from here. But there you go. That is mirroring and copying in the debug mode. Awkward, probably if you're more used to it. I might try and force myself to be more used to it. I think in certain bigger builds it might be advantageous. But here mostly I've found that it's like, it's not really been a benefit to me. But that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Let me finish off both these sides. Then we'll fill in the middle with container expansion. Yeah? Well, that one seemed to go much more smoothly. Don't quite know what I did differently there, but there you go. It's to do with replacing, I think, how you replace blocks and stuff like that as well. So let's delete out some of these. So I don't know how many blocks I actually how many storage blocks I actually removed. I didn't calculate that. I probably should have done. That's a problem down there, by the way. Ammo controller. We need to expand upon that. You know what I should be doing as well? I should have put the mirroring back on again. We'll turn the mirroring back on for a minute. I don't want to build too far out the back. Yeah, I want to maintain the sort of range that we built out here. On the same. Okay, let's get the mirroring back on again. Symmetry back on again, rather. And it should be doing it inside there anyway. Now, ammo we do need to deal with, because we're going to do something else with that as well. That's the medic station, isn't it? Let's have a look what I've done in there. Okay, the fact that it goes all the way back to here is fine. Yeah. We will have increased significantly the storage in here. Let's just group this a second. If we go to this, not the cargo, but the container store. So we had about, from what I recall before, we had about 5,500 storage. Now we've got 8,500. Okay, could we go further? We probably could. Should we? I don't know. Let's not worry about it for now, yeah? As far as that goes. We've got to sort out the back from here as well. We've got to sort out a few things. Obviously we've made it fatter. We need to build in the back from here. This is what I expected. I expected to make it a larger piece like this, and then to have to Yeah, then fill in the gaps. We've made it a fatter storage area on the back of the thing. And obviously we need to protect these as well and build this out. I don't want to make the cab much bigger, but I think we're okay. We might do a little bit with the cab, but maybe not. Maybe I don't need to. Okay, I think I can build what I need to build. Built into here, which is guns. See, we need more guns on this. You remember how we fought the drones and everything like that we met, and the various wildlife we met in many places has not been a problem, has it really? You know, we've been dealing with it very well in flying drones, but that is not, we can't say the same for the bombers. Yeah, remember meeting the bombers? The bombers were bad, weren't they? But they were nasty. We took a lot to take them down. And I did consider at the time, what if I could put in a missile launcher from there? And that probably is the answer. I don't think we'd have a missile launcher turned on all the time, but we'd have the option there of doing that, I think, to deal with them. To deal with things that are particularly bad like that. I don't think we'll build it as standard on here. In fact, probably what we could do, we could probably put 2 miniguns on here. For there. What I'd really like to do, quite frankly, this is the bit where you get a differentiation between different vehicles. I would love to put on here a large cannon. Okay, there is a 30mm cannon that you can get. I don't know about you, but 30mm cannon gives me a warm feeling in my special areas. That would be lovely to have on here, but sadly, 30mm cannons don't fit on HVs. HVs are a bit more limited when it comes to weapons. Not as limited, by the way. We'll just briefly glance through this now. Miniguns, rocket turrets, and these are scaling up through like sort of mobility and power. We've got plasma turrets, a little expensive right now. Artillery turrets, and then we've got tool turrets, which are something else entirely. They're not weapons. Okay, so these are the choices we've got for auto-firing turrets. And against things in the air, when we're on the ground, auto-firing is what we need. Okay, we've got a lot of choice for some turrets on here. These are rather expensive, and not the artillery turret is not really designed. It's designed for taking out bases. Yeah, not flying vehicles, no matter how annoying they might be. Plasma turrets are a bit expensive at the moment. Rocket turrets is what we can do. Cannons are not available in here, are they? No, they are not. Just for comparison, by the way. So if you want to find cannons, where is it? Projectile turrets. That's the thing it fits under. They're for bases and capital vessels. We haven't got that. For comparison, by the way, for different vehicles, on small vehicles, you've only got one turret available. Everything else is fixed fire and it's under our control. But of course, if you're in an SV, you are dodging and dodging around. You've got that whole sky to manoeuvre around in. Yeah, so that's why you've got more choice. You've got less choice of turrets. Yeah, that's one of the major differences between HVs and SVs. But this is fine. But there we go. This is where we're at. So we could put a rocket turret in here. They're about the same size as this. I couldn't remember about turret sizes, but they're about the same size. So we could put another one in here. We could just put another gun in as standard, couldn't we? I think I will actually. I think I'll double our firepower by putting in a second. Not that it makes a difference because the thing's fully rotatable, but can I rotate this the other way? There we go. Rear firing. It does mean, unfortunately, the spoiler has to go. That's fine. Well, we can do something else with that, with the spoiler. But there you go. We've got those in from there, and we can do something fun up here with blocks and things, can't we? We can do something interesting up here. But this means that we can switch this out easily for a rocket turret if we want to. Yeah, and that is the thought. Right, let's fix this. Should we fix this back right now? We can do a little bit on the back, can't we? Just do a little quick fix. Okay, that. Oh, I'm missing a greeble on the other side. That is that piece filled in. Let's put that back on again. I still like that thing. And by the way, in case you're wondering, this should still fit into the garage. We've only made it wider, not taller, so it should still fit into the garage under the Under the base. Right, so that's that fitted from there, but now I need to do something with the underside here, like the lower part of the trailer. Actually, that reminds me. I've just seen a space that is ideal. I was thinking about other guns for this vehicle. Like we had the miniguns on here before. And I think it would be nice to have a couple of guns under our control. Sometimes there's things you want to shoot that the turret doesn't want to get hold of. So I think I will put a couple of miniguns on here as well. This is what we're kind of heading towards, like a heavier duty transport. Oh, I don't think it'll do any harm to have these on here. So I've just seen a spot that might be ideal for it. I don't want to make the front any wider, but that's pretty about right. Actually, it kind of fits with the look, doesn't it, with the angle on it as well. I think that's okay. Yeah. Okay, I think we'll go with that for now. Right. Okay. Yeah. So now to fix the base and to make this look a little bit better. I don't want to make it. So I don't want to make it too much wider on the front, but we do need to do something with this. I could potentially just sink those in deeper. Actually, I think we could probably put some more protection around these and build the back out a little bit. But these ones, I think we can just sink them in. Because that there is just a block, isn't it? We can. Okay, I'd rather have that, I think. Yeah, I think I would rather have that. Being closed. Yeah, that way we maintain the slimmer front of this. Good. Okay, right, onto the back bits. Okay, before we do any more of this, I do need to do something with the ammo on this. So we've got a lot of demand on ammo for the weapons now. And last time, when we were running around on Masperon? One of them I tried to reload all the... Yeah, it was Masperon because of the number of ugly bugglies running around in there. I tried to reload like a couple of thousand rounds into the thing, and it didn't have enough room because I only had a small ammo storage. So what I'm thinking is we do need to go a bit further on that. But I need to stay away from the container storage for the main storage for the vehicle. Yeah, you can't have a clash between container units. So I found a gap in which we can put I think, if I've done it correctly, the ammo controller. Yeah, but it's away from the main storage from here. Now we do need protection on this, so we'll put some plates on here to cover this up. But also while we're here, I think I've now taken out the fridge that was in here. Let's sort this out. Again, we don't think we put a fridge in as standard on the original build, but we do need that here. Yeah, I don't have a fridge in here as standard. We've got this silly little cargo box for like spare random bits. So why don't we mirror that by putting this over here? So it's the opposite side to the cargo box. Yeah, and then we can put some baffles and protection around these to make sure they don't get damaged in the process. Although considering that, can I fit a thin block into there? I can't. That's kind of a problem in there. The angle of which block is in the way. One of these blocks is protruding into that little space there. I'm not sure which one it is, but it means I can't do the controller protection. That means this is a little exposed. I think we'll live with it. I think we'll live with it. And most of the ammo should be in the guns rather than in the thing. But I think it'll be alright. I think it'll be okay. I don't want to play around with it too much. I'm not actually sure which block is blocking that up. Don't know. Oh, it's that one, isn't it? It's that wedge there. That little wedge there is taking up too much room. But if I change that, then I'm potentially I'm removing this little side piece I have here. I'll think about it. I'll play around with it maybe. Okay, I think on a structural level we are about there with this, I think. Now, I would like to have... Have I replaced the fridge? That's a cargo box there. The fridge is there. I would like to have the fridge maybe semi-visible. But it's really hard to do is the problem, because the idea of being able to access cargo box in that is fun, but it's like, I don't think I can. There's not a good choice for a block to put in here. Stop pressing M, for goodness sake me. What is wrong with you? I could put in things like truss blocks, they don't really look right. Shutter blocks, they don't really work either. They only cover the front. Walkways and things, I don't think I've got an option in there. That's obviously the one with the big grill in there. We've used that a few times before, but it's not really... I mean, you can do things like this. That kind of thing. But I don't know. I think we're going to have to like just say, you know what? We can't see the fridge. It is fine. We can't see the cargo box. Everything's stored anyway. I know the sort of route we were going to before was that, you know, the shutter door was currently access to the back, and that was just what we were saying, wasn't it? Really about, you know, how you're loading things into the vehicle. It doesn't really matter in the long run. It's more the look of the vehicle. It is a little plain on the side now. I would say it's a little uninteresting. Can we do anything with that? Not easily. The trouble is, you see, if I like this big plate through the bottom from here. By the way, do I still have my colour on here that I was using? Hold on, I put an alternative colour on here, didn't I, for this? Now that particular texture is this one. No, it's not the right colour. It's that one actually, is what it is, isn't it? I do like this base. So if I was to do something interesting up here, like change the angle a little bit on here, then the problem is you then have that complicated transitions between different angles, like an angle coming in like this and an angle coming in like this. There are a lot of different blocks, but there's not enough to really make every single shape transition that you might want to have. And that can be tricky. That can be tricky to try to do. So, although I'd like to put more things on here, we're a little stuck in what we can do with the these. Has this paint on the other side as well? I don't think it has, you know. Oh, I'm on the wrong tool. I'm on the wrong texture. Is it painting the same on both sides? Or is it only... Yeah, it looks like it's painting on both sides. Or is it? No, maybe it isn't. Maybe painting only happens on one side at a time. Which is, you know, I'm okay with that. Let's have a look. These are all new blocks around this side. No, it is painting on both sides. It is painting on both sides. Fine. There we go. Like that. Yeah, I do like this heavy-looking base over here. Oh, I've not managed to mirror that side. I must have been distracted and doing something else. I've not mirrored here. Look, I need to do that. Let me fix these, and then we'll see what we can do to make this look. We've taken the spoiler off. What else can we do that's interesting up here, just to add a bit more texture to the big flat surface? Or are we just going to be painting on the side? I mean, we are protruding one more block out from the side because this takes up one more block. So effectively, this we could put things along here and we're not making the vehicle any wider. But we could add some more detail, like vents or something along here, maybe. Interesting. Symmetry, planes and textures don't always play nice together, not when they've got a particular orientation. I think we're reaching the end now as far as this goes. We're nearly done with this. I don't think I can do much more with the surface without... I guess I could add some very slight textures to the back of this without disrupting the aim of the turrets. Mostly they're aiming up as far as that goes. I've done a lot with... Oh, I've missed one there, look. I've missed some textures there, and on the jets as well. And some of these greebles and things, you can't add very much to them. I put some grills over the vents to protect them, because Aki was right when he said that, you know, exposed jets are a little bit dangerous. I think I'm going to tweak this a little bit more as far as colours, but I think we're mostly there with this one. Actually, no, we're not. There's one more thing to do before we go, before we name this and leave. Upgrading again. Yeah. Actually, it's interesting. I'll have to see what I can do about changing this. Blocks, block types and armour. We have not yet done any armour. There are a couple of different sorts of blocks. We've only been using steel blocks for now, and we haven't got into this too much as far as that goes. Steel blocks there, yeah, and you can do hardened steel blocks, artificial mass blocks, carbon composite and everything else, and combat steel. Okay, let's get these out and have a look at them, what they are. In fact, let's move these over. We can compare them next to each other. We have met these occasionally in the game, like isolating, like raiding them for bases, but we haven't done anything with them building. So, is it actually going to tell me from here? It probably isn't. What's the best way to view this? Is it going to tell me from here? No, it is not. How about with the tool? Okay. Let's compare a solid block, because whole blocks make a difference versus partial blocks do not have the same stats and value and weight and armour as a full block. So we could compare full blocks together. A steel block, okay, 50 points. By the way, for comparison, this is a curved block, it's only got 48 points. 50 points, 200 points, 400 points. Okay, so that's the difference in terms of hit points and protection. 8 kilograms, 32 kilograms, 64 kilograms. Okay, so that's the difference between these different sorts of blocks and why you'd use one over another. And of course, having a combat steel block is going to protect you a great deal more. So we could do that. We could make this all combat steel blocks. In fact, you could build the whole thing out of combat steel if you want to, but it would be bloody heavy, and it would work. You'd have a lot more extra cost to do that. But we do want to defend this more because we've been taking hits from things. We saw with the Hawk, we had entire blocks destroyed by attacks. So how do we do that? Well, the best way to do it would be to replace some of the blocks. Oh, I just realised that match. It does match. I thought I had a mismatching block for a second. Replace some of the blocks with hardened steel blocks, and the ones that are most likely to take damage. So we saw before when we took damage on the vehicle, the cockpit took damage, front bits took damage, and we had lost some of these blocks from here, some of these little ones from here, because most of the attacks are going to be coming in from the front and some from the top as well. So it would be a good idea for us to replace some of these with hardened steel blocks. So fix that from here. Upgrade. To make this into a hardened steel block, we need titanium plates. Let's get some of those, because apparently Creative is going to make us work for it. For that, there's a lot of titanium plates in our inventory. So now we can go. Yeah. This is now a hardened steel block. We can get a combat steel, that costs us stathium plates. Yeah, so these are now upgraded from here. We can see what they are by scanning over them. This is probably the easiest way to upgrade the pieces from here. Question is, we can ask in a second, is would a mirroring help us to do a symmetry, but would that help us to upgrade faster? Possibly. I don't know. We can find that in a minute. But anyway, this is now more hardened. These are the most liable to be damaged blocks. So we've upgraded them. And overall, we've probably added a lot of titanium to the cost. But that is fine. We can probably do that. We can also upgrade the actual cockpit. But we need a whole bunch of different bits and pieces to do that. It's awkward we have to do it. We can. So the cockpits are an item that has an upgraded version of it. Yeah, it looks a little bit different. It's now an armoured version from there. Things like Gatling guns cannot be armoured, and I think pretty sure lights can't be armoured either, or anything like that. No upgrade available. You know, there's only certain things we can do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around and replace some of the items, some of the blocks on here. Actually, let's do symmetry first. Let's see if that makes a difference. For example, did it do the other side? It did not. Okay, symmetry doesn't matter with armouring. That's fine. So we'll do some of the ones from the top. Yeah, they're the most likely blocks to get damaged from up here. We'll replace all of these. But not the ones on the side. Obviously we're adding weight to this as well. And we'll get to the end and we'll see where we're at when it comes to how expensive this vehicle is looking at the end. Right, I think we're finally there. I think so. Obviously it's a lot chunkier than it was. I beefed it up a great deal. There's a lot more armour on there. I'm not sure I like the armour cockpit quite so much, but we have the armour plates around the edge from here. We have some extra detail on here. I have some flashing lights because why not? We learnt lights in a recent episode. I think last episode probably. So let's just do some lights from there as well. We've got the double turret on there. What is the overall cost of this? We're above the CPU usage like I expected. So we are, but we're way below the second one. So that is fine. CPU tier 2. We have a slightly higher power consumption, but that's fine. That's okay from here. We are a lot more expensive to make, but titanium rods, we've got quite a few of those. We've got a new source of titanium on Maspron anyway. Neodymium ingots, we've got those as well. We've also got those. Cobalt ingots aren't too bad. It's okay. It does what we wanted it to do. Yeah, it should be a lot tougher. It should be able to deal with offensive creatures or drones a lot more easily. This will bring things drones very, very quickly indeed, and hopefully deal with the more powerful ones. And we can switch this out for a missile launcher to therefore deal with anything nastier than that. Yeah, is it any better looking? Probably not, but I'm okay with it for now. We need to give it a new name though, because that isn't good enough. We had the yellow sub. Well, what do we call this thing? I don't know. Obviously the colour scheme is the same, but that's fine. I don't know. That's not very exciting, but you know what? Sometimes that's all you can do if your brain's not going to do it. I'm quite tired. My brain is not going to be able to do anything better than that. So let us do there we go. It's in the blueprint library now as well, and I'm probably going to use this on Skillon, but we're still considering the other flying vehicle. Yeah, the is that glowing through here? Where's that glow coming from? The lights are being rather strange again. The lights are like they've got lights underneath it. The lights are like projecting through. It's just a reflection from here. I don't know. Get some odd reflections. I don't think you should be getting a reflection here. Maybe you are from this light here. I don't know. Let's not worry about it. I'm no expert in how the reflections work and everything else. So there we go. Anyway, yeah, I think we'll probably use this on Skillon. But before we do that, I think we'll play around first with a flyer. An equivalent flyer, so we can make one as good as at least as the previous sub. and we'll see how that looks as well. We'll make a choice between the two about what we're actually going to use next. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. I'll see you again